Alright, y'all, man, it's your boy Homeball League 2 times. For me, back in the video, man, for me, follow the Instagram at Homeball League 2 times. Now look, y'all today started talking about signs you're entering your highest self. Now look, for up to this video, I want to give a huge shout out to the Most High in general for everything. I'm also giving you a shout out to myself as well for wanting to receive this good information and give out this good information as well. I'm also giving you a shout out to everyone and to y'all. Y'all literally, like, I say this all the time, bro, but I really mean it every time I say it. Like, y'all literally take energy out of y'all's day to literally come rock with me, bro. And, you know, to tap in with me, you know, and just tap in with self, you know, and I'm glad y'all like the content, you know what I mean? You could be like, you know what, instead I want to be entertained, or, you know, it's a lot of other things that you could have been doing, but you decided to come here and watch my videos, you know, and have a good time and learn, you know, and I appreciate that. Much gratitude deeply. I'm also sending good positive energy, good positive protection, good positive feeling, and good positive energy towards everyone always deeply. Also, if you want to book a one-on-one consultation with me, DM me on my Instagram at Homeball League 2 times. Let's go ahead and get more deep into the video. How to know when you are tapping in with your higher self. Excuse me. Excuse me. When it comes to your higher self, right? Your higher self is within you. Your higher self has always been within you, and your higher self will always be within you, as long as you are living, of course. And you'll start to know when you're tapping in with your highest self more when you start saying no more. What do I mean by this? When you start saying no to certain things, when you start to be like, no, I'm not gonna eat that donut. No, I'm not gonna, you know, go in the fridge and eat a muffin, even though I'm on a diet, I'm working out, I wanna keep a nice physique, so I'm not gonna eat that, unless it's cheat day, of course. Or, you know, another form of knowing that you're tapping in with your higher self is you're doing the things that you don't maybe not want to do, but you're still doing it because you know it's gonna help you. You know it's gonna elevate you, and you know it's gonna help you get to the path and to the journeys that you want to get to and that you are going to get to. You know, see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different ways to tap in with your higher self, but another way to know that you're tapping in with your higher self is that you're grooming yourself. And what I mean by grooming yourself, it doesn't necessarily have to be cleaning and taking showers, you know, but that too, of course. But what I mean by grooming is that you're taking better care of yourself, right? You got your skincare routine, you know, you're working out consistently, you're on a diet, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're dressing more freely. What I mean by freely is that you're dressing more of how you truly want to dress. You know, these are different ways of knowing that you're tapping in with your higher self, right? You know, meditating, you know, yoga, stretching, you know, going outside, you know, being polite, being nice. You know, these are high vibrational energies, right? This is good energy, right? You know, and another thing too with vibrating high and how to know when you're tapping in with your higher self is that your intuition. You know, when your intuition is telling you something and you listen to it and you take action off base of what your highest self is telling you, you know, that's another form of you being tapped in and, you know, being a part of your higher self. You know, because even if you don't want to be a part of your higher self, or you don't want to listen to your higher self, or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, your higher self is a part of you. You are your higher self, right? And you also are your lower self. That's just the honest truth. But your higher self and your lower self, they're one. It's the same individual. We're just changing frequencies. See what I'm saying, bro? We have free will. We have energy. We have an aura field. A lot of us are magnetism, magnetized beings, magnetizing aura, etc. Magnetizing energy. So everybody has a magnetizing energy, and in their own way, of course. And another way to know that you're tapping in with your higher self is when you're having more control of yourself. You're taking better care of yourself. You're being in more control of self. You're not letting things dictate you or control you. You're not letting things get to you. You're not letting things bother you, right? And I don't mean like have a negative or I don't care mindset. No, you do care, but you're not letting it affect you in a negative way, right? And if it does start to affect you in a negative way, you get back on task, right? In good, positive ways. So, it's a lot of different ways to know that you are tapping in with your higher self. And when you're tapping in with your higher self, you know, like when you're tapping in with higher self, you know that you're tapping in with your higher self. Even if you think you don't know, truly deep down inside within yourself, you know that you're tapping in with your higher self. And another reason too to like, when you're tapping in with your higher self, right, is I would say as well as when you are in better energy, right? When you are in better spirits, right? When you are thinking more clear, right? When you are being more focused, when you are being more grounded, when you're being more rooted, when you are being more aligned with self, with yourself, and the universe, God, it's a reflection of you. The universe is your higher self. It's a form of your higher self. The universe giving you signs, guiding you, God's guiding you, Allah's guiding you, right? And it's telling you, it's suggesting things that you should do, what to do, what not to do. It's very similar to your higher self, right? That's because it is your higher self. It's just a different form of your higher self, right? For an example, there could be a Dodge Charger and then there could be a Mercedes Benz. They're both different energies, but at the end of the day, they're both what? They're both cars. That's something that they do have in common. They're both cars, right? So, your higher self and the universe, y'all might have some things that are different about y'all, but y'all are both, they're both still versions in their own way of you, of your higher self. And I recommend not to rush the process with anything in life. I know we can get impatient, right? I get it, but just if you do get impatient, it's okay to take a breath. It's okay to just stop talking for a while. It's okay to go cleanse. It's okay to just like redirect your energy into more of an aligned, positive energy. Like I've said, whatever you focus on, you give your energy to, right? Because to focus on anything, you have to give your energy to it. And your energy is your life force. It's your energy. It's your soul. It's your spirit. It's your mind. So, whatever you're focusing on, you're giving it your attention. You're giving it your energy. You're giving it your life force. You are already your higher self. I don't want you to think that you're not your higher self. You are already your higher self. You don't have to chase and try to become your higher self. You are already your higher self. It's just, are you going to continue to keep tapping in with your higher self? Because when you do that, that will help you become a better version of yourself, etc. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the universe is a form of your higher self. You know, and another way how to know that you are tapping in with your higher self is that you're being grateful. Right? You're not taking things for granted. Right? You're being grateful. You know, you're being positive. You know, you're in good spirit. You're in good energy. You're taking care of yourself. You know, you're protecting your energy. You know, you're saving your energy in good, positive ways. These are, you know, you're protecting yourself in good, positive ways. These are forms of tapping in and being your higher self, being your higher version of self, of yourself. You know, and when you're feeling good, truly, that's a form of, you know, being your higher self. You know, and tapping in with your higher self. You know, and I know it can get hard sometimes to stay in that higher self energy. I understand that, but you know, one of my favorite things, one of my favorite quotes to say is, the universe isn't going to put anything on your plate that you can't handle. So, you know, even if you think you can't handle it, even if it feel like you can't handle it, you can handle it. Because if you couldn't handle it, you couldn't handle it. You know, the honest truth is it wouldn't be on your plate. It wouldn't be in your journey. It wouldn't be on your path. It wouldn't be in your life. You know, so you can handle it, and you're already handling it. You know, rather if you realize it or not. You know, rather if you want to accept it or not. But you already are handling it. You already are going with the flow of life. You know, and that's real. You know. Look, man, if you want to book a one-on-one consultation with me, DM me on my Instagram at HumbleAli 2 times. I'm going to say that one more time. If you want to book a one-on-one consultation with me, just DM me on my Instagram at HumbleAli 2 times. And I'll catch y'all for Mills on the next one, man. Peace.